All right, I'm going to say it's 10 o'clock right now, and we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum, and so with that, would you please stand, and our opening prayer will be Pastor Brandon Neal, chaplain for the Gainesville High School Sports Program.
Thank you. Right here, okay?
Excellent, perfect.
At a time when not everything is known, many things are questioned, God's way is always right. God's way is always right. The Bible says He led them forth by the right way. Let's pray and ask God to help us be led in the right way in things we do. Lord, we love you and we thank you, Lord, for your goodness. You watch over us this gorgeous day you've given us. The longevity, Lord, you've given this county, this town, the folks that have surrendered their time to serve, to make decisions, Lord, to guide and directions, Lord. We ask that all the decisions and the many directions, Lord, that we may go that might come just from this meeting today, that they would honor, Lord, and glorify Jesus Christ's holy name and our testimony here in the community. Father, that we would seek that you would lead us, knowing that that is always in the right way. Thank you, Lord, for the opportunity, Lord, to open up a service like this in prayer. Father, thank you again for those that are attending today, Lord. Help make right decisions, Lord, that will glorify thee in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you very much. You're certainly welcome to stay with us today and observe the court. And with that, I believe I would like to go ahead and lead our pledges. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you very much. Welcome to Commissioners Court, everybody that's here. Item number 6 would be the consent agenda. And the consent agenda includes non-controversial and routine items that the court may act on with one single vote. The judge or a commissioner may pull any item from the consent agenda in order that the court discuss and act upon it individually as part of the regular agenda.
Judge, you skipped 5. I'm going to do no action on 5.
There was a reason I did.
But we just need to say no action.
Oh, okay,
I
I'm
seen
sorry.
her sheets in there. There wasn't nobody that had signed up.
Okay. Second.
I seen her sheets and nobody had signed up.
Nobody had signed up, but you're right. We have skipped item number 5, which was public comments on agenda items. While I'm here, does anybody have any public comments on agenda items? And I don't think so. There were no sheets, and so if that item comes up later on in the agenda and you do have something to say, we'll entertain a question at that time. Anybody have anything on item number 6?
I have a question that Shelley might be able to answer about the engagement letter for the 75 calculation. That's
Yeah.
something we have to do every year?
Yes.
Okay. I thought,
That's
big
your
numbers stick out and, okay.
post-employment benefits calculation.
Just a second. Those culverts is what that is, that text dot, I'm assuming.
We have, I didn't even know about that.
36-inch, 8-foot long, 11 concrete. Somebody needs them.
Is there a letter?
There is. I don't know if it's in the packet, but I got a phone call. You got a phone call from?
That's not, okay.
Yeah, and asked them to send the letter to you, so I'm guessing they sent you.
It's in the packet, okay.
You said.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what it is, guys. And rather than have a walking forum, we might decide who wants them, who's gonna get them. I don't have a real need.
Nobody wants them, I'll take them, but, I mean, either way.
I don't need them.
No,
You can have.
So, okay, Matt, you need them?
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Motion by Commissioner Snuggs to approve the consent agenda. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second is Commissioner Sickey. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. The consent agenda passes 5-0. Item number 7 is to consider and possibly approve contract with Avenue to retrieve old microfilm, 143 rolls, from their storage for the district clerk.
She couldn't be here today. She's calling a jury, so this is like the county clerk, Avenue was holding microfilm,
Okay.
and they wanted to charge a monthly service for holding it. So the district clerk said, no, I'll go get them and store them here. So that's what this contract is.
Okay. Do we need to bring that back or just go ahead?
Just go ahead.
Just go ahead, okay.
I move to approve.
Motion Commissioner Snuggs to approve item number 7. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second is Commissioner Arndt. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And there are none. Item number 7 passes 5-0.
She's gonna pay for that out of her records management money.
Okay. Item number 8 is to deliberate and consider approving funds needed to repair patrol unit involved in a not-at-fault accident and budget amendment for the same.
This is more about approving a budget amendment than anything, because they need to get it repaired, and we haven't received the insurance benefits yet. So my suggestion would be to fund it through the prisoner boarding revenue that he's been bringing in.
And then the insurance will reimburse eventually, most likely. Okay.
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, once again, Commissioner Snuggs makes the motion to approve item number 8.
Second.
Second is Commissioner Hollowell. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And there are none. Item number 8 passes 5-0. Item number 9, consider and possibly approve ordering 13 election express votes machine with a budget amendment for the same. Who's with that?
So I brought this up in our budget meeting because I just feel like we need to prepare for 2024 to have enough machines out there so that we don't have long lines, because that's going to probably be one of the maybe biggest elections. So, and then Shelley explained that we have some grant monies, if you'll explain that to them.
Well, it's not really grant money, it's payment in lieu of taxes. The federal government, because they put in Lake Ray Roberts, we don't get tax money from that lake anymore, from that land. So the federal government gives us payment in lieu of taxes, PILT is the acronym. And apparently, I'm not quite sure what county in the United States thought that they weren't getting enough money, so they were gonna file a class action lawsuit. And so the U.S. Treasury government decided, well, we'll give a little. And it's out of the ARPA Appropriations Act, so I put in the ARPA fund. Cooke County received $100,000. We got 50 this year, we'll get 50 next year. So it's sitting in ARPA unused, and so I thought we've bought machines when we first received the ARPA money. So I thought we could use that if that.
We wanted to do these now and then more on the next budget to make sure, should be good from now on after that.
I would hope so. You know, I mean, I'm going to try to send them out to the precincts that have the scanners, the precinct scanners. That way they're getting the good ballots that are going in scanners, and then the ones that don't have them, you know, I can count them in my central count. I'll send more paper ballots to them, but I feel like this should be enough. I mean, it's never going to be enough. There's still going to be some lines
Oh, 100%.
using the machines, but
I don't think she wants to buy them now, and not put any in our budget.
Oh, okay, that's what.
I was gonna put them in the budget, but because we have the money now, we
Okay,
can
we
get
don't.
them, get
Okay,
them.
so this is, you're not wanting to buy 13 now and then 13 for,
No.
okay, awesome.
I
So,
make a motion to approve using the funds from ARPA.
Second.
All right, Commissioner Hollowell made the motion to approve item number 9 using ARPA funds. Is that
Yes, sir.
the way you want that to, okay? And Commissioner Snuggs has seconded that motion. All in favor? Say aye. Any opposed? There are none. Item number 9 passes 5-0. Item number 10 is to consider and possibly approve transferring a Chevy Tahoe from EM to EMFM to maintenance. Who's wants to speak to that?
Is your Tahoe, was that one a police issue Tahoe?
no.
It wasn't a police package Tahoe, it was normal Tahoe.
Good morning. So Ray Fletcher, emergency manager. I received my 2023 Tahoe, which is a heavy-duty version, four-wheel drive support vehicle, basically. It's not the low-profile, fast racing, not that. But it is built with the extra alternator.
Oh, I mean, your old one, it wasn't.
The old one, no, it's not either. No, it's
Normal Tahoe.
four-wheel drive Tahoe, basically, with a little bit of extra coolant and cooling capacity and alternator on. I think it's about the biggest modification.
And that is going to.
Well, that is the proposal, yes, sir. Mr. Kerr with maintenance said he would be happy to have it, so that, I just proposed that, and I think he kind of talked about the status of the vehicle it's gonna replace, possibly much better than I can. But I'm happy to let it be used by somebody else.
Well,
Thank you, Ray.
we have the van that we received from the sheriff's office that we use for service work, hauling tools and that kind of thing. The other thing that we have is the Expedition that we got from the sheriff's office several years ago. It has 350,000 miles on it, and it's just about dead in the water. So we don't even drive it anymore. And so any vehicle that we have that we feel comfortable driving as far as Denton or anywhere out of town, the only one is that van. We have this white truck we haul trash in, and then that red pickup, and both of them they're just old and, worn. So we can use that vehicle.
It's a four-wheel drive, you say?
I believe it is.
Yes.
Do you have need for a four-wheel drive? Ever?
Not necessarily. Sometimes there are icy roads, I mean, it won't hinder it. I mean, it won't be a negative since it already has four-wheel drive.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I mean, I remember somebody riding with you said it's pretty war.
Probably better than.
Well, it's better than what they.
Better than what
Right.
they- what it's replacing.
It's not like comfortable office worthy
No.
probably.
No, that was cool.
That was a concern I had.
That was
I'll
kind of
make a
one I was-
motion.
What
Should I make a motion?
Okay. You got a motion?
Motion, Commissioner Sicking, to pass item number 10, transfer the Chevy Tahoe to maintenance. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second is Commissioner Snuggs. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And there are none.
So
Thank
the
you, Rick.
old one, what are we gonna do
Thank
with
you,
it?
Ray.
Sell
Do
it?
I'm sorry, what?
Sell the old one?
Just goes.
Expedition?
Get it for salvage?
Yeah, it can go away.
Well, we'll have to bring it back to surplus.
All right, item number 11, ratify the county judge's signature on text dot resolutions for infrastructure investment and jobs act in highway bridge replacement and rehabilitation program.
Got to approve.
Do what now?
That's move to approve.
Okay,
Second.
Commissioner, to approve is Commissioner Hollowell, second Commissioner Snubs, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. Item number 11 passes 5-0. Item number 12 is to open a public hearing. It's a replat of Lot 125 Timber Creek Ranchettes in Precinct 2, and we will do that at 10:15. Public hearing is open. Anybody wish to speak to Timber Creek Ranchettes in Precinct 2? Do you know of anybody? Okay. If there are no comments, then we will close the public hearing at 10:16. Okay.
Ready to just talk about it now?
If you want to, that's in your precinct.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's just a replat, and there's no deed restriction saying that they can't break off, so it's breaking off an acre of a, I think a 4 acre or 5 acre tract to sell her daughter an acre. And they got everything together, and I make a motion to approve this replat. We've sent out all the notices, everything's good. It's in Woodbine off of FM 3164.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a soft over in that area.
Okay, we have a motion to approve item number 14. Commissioner Snubs, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second is Commissioner Sicking. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And there are none. Item 14 passes 5-0. Item number 15 is to open a public hearing. It's a replat of FRF Estates Section 2, Block 2, Lot 29 in Precinct 2. And we shall open the public hearing at 10:17.
Anyone here on that?
Anybody wish to speak about? I don't believe anybody is here to speak on that. So with that in mind, I'll close the public hearing at 10:18. That's item number 16. Then item number 17 is deliberate and consider possible action regarding the replat of FRF Estates Section 2, Block 2.
As much as I hate this one, because that place is overcrowded, there's nothing, the law states that we have to allow them to replat, so it's a 2 acre lot. We're splitting it into 2 1 acre lots. And, all the notice has been sent out, nobody spoke up out there, so I make a motion we approve this one. Everything's in order.
All right, Commissioner Snubs has made the motion to approve item number 17. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Sicking. All in favor? Aye. Passes 5-0, item number 17. Item number 18 is to deliberate and consider possible approval of the final plat for Clear Sky Development in Precinct 2. Busy today.
Busy. All right, so this is the first, is there a public hearing on this one?
Nope.
No, it's final approval.
All right.
This is the first phase of the mud down there. And the engineers gave it the green light. They're starting on all the lots that border the county road, and they are paying to pave the county road that it's on, and then they'll bring their next phases. This is, I think this one's 14 lots.
They don't pay for pre-construction, Jason?
No. I told them I didn't want to pave it until all these houses were built. These will all be built out by the end of summer. And This is the first phase, and this one will be like 568 houses when they get through with all the phases. I don't know exactly how many phases they're gonna do it in.
Again, where exactly?
This is off of County Road 200, just southwest of FRF Estates,
Gotcha.
so
Southwest.
southwest, yeah.
FRF, not much Cooke County left there, is there?
No, they're, yeah, they're 100 feet from the county line on the south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But this is good. It's gonna be a big concrete street, big, nice, well-built subdivision. It's Riverside Home Builders, and they do it right. This is their second one to be completed, and they've got a third one that's about to be for final too. So I make a motion, we approve.
Commissioner Snuggs makes a motion to pass, approve item number 18 on the agenda. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second is Commissioner Art. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And there are none. Item number 18.
And nobody leave before we sign all these.
Okay.
I've got the 3 from today and 1 from 2 weeks ago that we didn't get signed, so.
That's right. We need to have the signing party after we finish here. Item number 19 is to deliberate and consider possible action regarding broadband services. Spread thin.
I don't think we have anything going on with this yet. Unless Shelley knows something that I don't. Okay, yeah, no action.
Okay, item number 19 is actually no action. Item number 20, deliberate and consider possible action regarding Cooke County EMS and fire pager system. Commissioner Hart.
Go ahead, Ray.
All right, sir, thank you. Ray Fletcher again, Cooke County Emergency Manager and Fire Marshal. Last court, we passed out somewhat of a scope of work or talking point on the paging system as it stands, and then the challenges or possible options going forward to improve it. As you know, right now, we have an east and a west independent paging towers or sites, one at the Pentex Tower and one on a Woodbine Water Tower on northwest or northeast of Oak Ridge. And the east side has not been good in a long time, since we had to come off of our original site where they tore that tower down. And going forward, I think there are possibilities of different technologies to use, or different frequencies, different types of pagers, and there's a lot of, I think, acceptable options that all come with a price and a capability impacts. And so I like to think I'm somewhat smart, but I'm not that smart. And so that was my concern, is that we hire a professional company to come in and objectively analyze or assess what those options might be, provide us some coverage estimations, prices, and try to help us get to a better understanding of what our options are and what they look like in both capability and finance. I took a uneducated guess at $2,500 to $3,000, and they came back and thought it would be closer to no more than I think $9,900. But Keith Witt from Trot Communications is here to talk to all of that, and I think would be a lot more versed than I. And if he may, I would ask him to talk to me.
Yes, good morning, Court. I'm Keith Witt from Trot. The idea that we had is we would take a look, exactly as Ray had mentioned, take a look at the different options available to you. We see that there are actually several, and we would help with the analysis of those options, the cost and benefit of each, so that we could present back the pros and cons and budgetary impact of really the 3 different options. We see one of them to expand and improve upon the UHF that you currently have. One is to make a change over to the VHF band, which would come at a cost as well, and one would be to move your paging operations to 700 megahertz, which you've done with some of your two-way services recently. So the scope of our work would really be to look at the coverage of each of those 3, the cost that would come along with each of those three, and give you back the pros and cons and benefits of each. And that's really the proposal that we have for you. I would answer any questions you might have.
And we did, to help possibly reduce the cost of this, we've requested Motorola to provide us the as-built for the project we just did that may help provide some of the data they won't have to duplicate. Oh, we got a tower quote. We discussed possibly bringing a commercial tower. We did get a proposal back on that. The one that appears to be a good commercial option anyway, in coverage. But, yeah, it's $1,600 a month, 15-year contract, 5% a year increase every year.
How much a month?
$1,600.
It's expensive.
And I'm still following up to see if that provides generator and ground side, and not if we have to bring our own shelter generator. But just another piece of the puzzle that while it may be the greatest coverage option, it may not be financially as viable, or it may not be as good a coverage option. But trying to assess all of that.
There's always money.
I mean, we're gonna have to do something because it's not working like it should. And if we had some, I just don't wanna throw darts out there if we're gonna just throw darts at, well, let's try this and put it on this tower. I mean, we're gonna have some kind of, I think we got some data out there from the prior deal that we can, like you said, use, but we're gonna have somebody besides me that knows how to do that. I don't know how to do that, so.
Where was that tower at? That expensive one?
There's two just north of the boys' prison out here, and it's the one furthest east, so they're both.
Where the original one was?
Yeah, the original was just on the south side of it, and they're on the north side, so it's pretty close. They're a tad shorter, but very consistent with what we had there a while.
Height-wise and everything.
We know already that we can page EMS with 700. We have that capability. Now, the problem you're gonna have there is that doesn't take care of the volunteer fire departments. So if you start looking at using 700, then you're gonna have to go equip your
Right.
volunteer fire department.
And that's, again, the challenge is that, staying with UHF, well, we've got pagers that are already UHF, we don't have a good site that's UHF, so what's the cost there? We have VHF simulcast built out pretty good, robustly, but the pagers are UHF, so there's a cost there. Or we have these options, and so what are the costs associated with each of them, and then for what coverage do we gain, and are we simply putting more money into our 1978K car, or are we building in something better and more future that's more sustainable? A lot of questions I have.
So could we use a digital simulcast system, but we still have to have frequency? Or can we do that on a,
My understanding is on the digital VHF simulcast in the 4 tower sites, if we had pagers, we could page off of that simulcast system, and that page would go off all 4 towers at the same time and blast that page out. I would recommend if we did that, we did on the emergency management frequency.
right,
But-
keep it off the fire side?
Right, but they would also hear it on the radio if they're scanning
Right.
emergency management frequency, as well as, and so would everybody, as well as on pager. But that's part of the assessment, is since we wouldn't have to put anything in infrastructure necessarily, then is, buying pagers actually a cheaper and in the long run better alternative than possibly doing something else that while we may be able to get the pagers we end up with more money in the infrastructure that's maybe not the future of paging. So those are questions that constantly.
Anybody here familiar with the elevation at Triangle Road and 922?
It's not, I can look on the map, but it's not.
It's higher than the road, that's about all you can say.
When we get into that, now you got 3 channels. Our pagers, will they do 3 different tones?
So the pagers you currently have, I know will do 2, and part of our study would be to look at, is it, possible to do 3? And also to the coverage side is we would do a coverage analysis of the various options in the UHF band. So we have a propagation model, and we could produce back a coverage map that would show the benefit of each of the towers you're currently looking at, and which ones might serve that need and which ones would not be a good option for you. So part of that scope would be to look at both of those things. What are the options as far as what are the pagers capable of doing that you currently have, but also the different tower site options you have, what would that look like from a coverage side, and which ones would best fix your problem you're currently experiencing with coverage.
But if we went with the third tower and we only had, if we could do the 3, then we still have a dispatch has got to send it to the right group, is that correct?
Correct. The way you're currently doing it now,
Yes.
where you were, was you have an east and a west, and the dispatch operator has to make an assessment on the fly, which is not always good,
Right.
to say what tower is best to send that page on. They have to make that choice. If you had a different frequency and the pager was capable of operating on multiple frequencies, then they could send those out at the same time on both of the frequencies, and now the dispatch operator doesn't have to make that choice on the fly. It goes out to both and does a better job of coverage.
Similar to the simulcast digital.
Yes, it's called multicast, where you send it out over multiple frequencies.
Right.
But likewise, if you were to go with the simulcast and VHF band, you would get the benefit of going to all 4 towers
It's
at
gonna pick
once.
the best one.
And once again, the dispatch operator doesn't have to make a choice, try to assess on the fly what's the best tower to send it to.
Right.
And then to do the multicast, there's also the connectivity with the repeaters within those sizes. There's pieces there.
And when you do that, though, you're going to digital pagers, right?
So if you stuck with the UHF band, likely the choice would be to stick with analog pagers. If you were going to go to digital pagers and invest in digital pagers, it would make more sense to go to an infrastructure that is currently refreshed and ready to go, which would be in your VHF band or in your 700 band.
The current pagers are analog. So if we went UHF inside, it would have to be analog, or we'd have to go with pagers and upgrade all the sites.
That tower there near Triangle Road, what is it currently being used for?
It's a commercial site.
It's a commercial total?
It's a commercial site that, if it will accommodate our need, will subject to cost us $0. And
I like zero.
But you still got equipment. You still have an issue that it's got to hit that tower.
but the best case scenario, whatever they come up with, is going to cost us some money, either in digital pagers, in infrastructure, and whatever. You raised a good question. When you say that our current pagers, we only can do 2?
2 channels.
2 channels.
East and west is what the channels are now. I don't know if they're 3 channel capable, is that right?
Right, that's what I have to look at. I don't know off the top of my head if those pagers are capable of 3 different channels or just 2, but right now you're only doing 1. So it's a single channel, and the dispatch operator just makes a choice. Am I going to send it out on the west tower or the east tower? So part of what we would look at in order to improve your coverage, but also your operation, would be is if you make a choice to stick with the UHF band, is it possible to send it out on 2 different frequencies at the same time, so the dispatch operator no longer has to make that choice on the fly, east or west. It just goes out to both. And there's a couple of ways to do that. The multicast, as I mentioned, you could look at simulcast as well. If you're going to invest in infrastructure in the UHF band, one of your options could be convert that to simulcast, so that now you're going out over all of your towers at once, be it 2, be it 3, whatever that happens to be. It really comes down to, do you want to invest in pagers, or do you want to invest in infrastructure in the UHF band? That's really the bottom line. That will be the heart of the assessment, and that'll be based, I'm assuming, upon the benefit and the cost attached to each of those.
I mean, if we could, and it would take us 2 repeaters, if the pagers would accommodate it, we could put a repeater at our Walnut Bend site, cost us nothing to take care of Callisburg North, put another repeater at 922 in Triangle, and take care, would that not handle North shore and out to the south and the east?
We know we gotta do west sides.
What's going on with the west side? Why can we not continue to use west side as it is?
Now you've got 3 sides.
I understand.
There's only 2 channels.
Well, but we don't know that for sure. And I could spend $10,000 to ask that question, or maybe we work through this a little bit before we make that decision. We may have some, resources out there can answer that question.
What was the height of the tower we lost over here, Ray?
400.
Where were we on it though, Ray? Were we at the top?
You said that one down there is 190?
I think it's 190, but I don't know what the elevation is. See,
It's
that's,
not very tall. I was sitting here trying to look, there's no.
We're talking about the one they're trying to.
it's 190 feet, but I don't know what the elevation is, and the relationship to the ridge. That makes all the difference in the world, the
Yeah.
relationship to the ridge. I'm sure we can get a solution and a fix, but that fix may be less than financially feasible. I don't know. My thoughts. I mean, if we go to digital pagers and we spend $700 a piece, and there's got to be 200 plus we'd have to order, I would think. I mean, if there's 180 radios out there, there's a lot more firefighters than that out there. And then we purchase them all at one time. What's going to happen is when they start going bad, they're all going to go bad at the same time. We're going to replace them again. Didn't we just spend $20,000 buying pagers? 18 to buy the pagers that we have.
We're gonna have to do something. So I don't know if
And you're not hearing any disagreement
Yeah.
from me.
Well, did we agree last court to get it engineered, or what did we
This-
say?
we're trying to get a price, and it's $9,900 or something to.
Yes, and I would point out that's not to exceed if this ends up being less, because it's really an hourly rate that we work on. So if we can get some benefit from the coverage maps from Motorola, which we have not seen yet, if we get some benefit from that, that cost could go down. It's a not to exceed number that we
Right.
put forth, assuming that we would have to analyze the coverage on all 3 bands.
See, and that's on our existing towers. That coverage is on the existing towers that we have up now. So we could use those sites if we went that way.
I'm just thinking, that tower down there is only 190 foot. What was the other tower over, you said, but it wasn't tall enough?
400 here. Well, the one we're on now is 90 foot, we're on the top of it, but we're at 990. And
Elevation.
here in
It's on top
town,
of
we're
it.
at about 830, maybe 840 here.
Our problem is here on Rice, we're just too short.
But if we, and again, that's why, my buddy is.
Right.
But if we did another site to the southeast somewhere, and we did a site to the northeast somewhere, and we still have the west side tower site, we would have to get more frequencies, because we can't, we're working off one frequency now, we just got a different input tone on east and west. We can't do that again on a third one. We'd have to get another frequency pair. And then we would have basically a tower 1, tower 2, tower 3, and dispatch would have to decide which tower to take that department on.
Which mirrors what they currently do though, right?
They do on east-west now, and most of the time they're successful in lower dispatch. Sometimes they don't get quite right, that makes a big deal. And that would keep us basically where we're at today. But on the east side, the challenge we're getting for EMS is we're not coming back into Gainesville, so they're not here in Station 1 for the capital. That may be a procedural issue they need to deal with, maybe not a paging issue, but.
Is there a simulcast scenario out there in VHF that we can, well, there's not, that we can use without replacing
If
pagers?
we did the 3 sites like you mentioned, and then we simulcasted those, multicasted those, now you're starting into some more significant equipment costs to tie all that together and do that.
Unless we state UHF. You're
Well,
looking
no,
at two.
even at the sites, there's gonna be equipment to multicast.
Right, if you wouldn't, yes, if you were to convert your UHF to simulcast, then there would be the cost of making the infrastructure capable of simulcast operations.
And that's
That's
where-
it, that, but if we might not necessarily, if the 3 towers were sufficient, might not need simulcast operations. They work just like they do today with an additional tower.
We need to make a decision.
Right, if we can find the perfect site to serve that problem in the east, then you could be essentially what you're doing now. You would just be doing it on a different site, so that is one of the options, yes, sir.
And that option, even now, could be that tower by Boysburg, but that is financially in $1,600 a month, 5% a year, 50-year agreement.
Yeah, and,
So,
you know,
everything happens.
but, or will they be able to identify any other towers out there that's available to us, or we're gonna have to do the legwork on that?
So part of the idea with the study is to take a look at the different options of towers that you have and produce a coverage map for each of those so that you can make an educated, informed decision on what tower or multiple towers would best serve the need and fix the problem that you currently have.
Do y'all still have some of the coverage maps from the previous?
Yes, we do. On all of the existing sites that we looked at that time, then we could look at any of those, and we can look at any of the towers you're currently using, as well as the towers that have been identified by Ray and his group.
I don't know, you know, we obviously found another tower out there we didn't know we had access to, so.
I think I've covered the east side pretty good for the best towers. But really, it's, at least from the eagle eye view, right, technically, that appears to be the most central north-south to the east that we got.
And of course, I hadn't considered the 2-tower thing until recently, and it sounds like that may or may not be an option if our pager system will accommodate 3 towers. But anyway.
So, to move forward, do we want to have them do a study for us where we can figure out where we need to be? We're gonna have to, we can't, and what I'm saying is, if we go down the Triangle Road, put it up there, spend the money to put it up there, and it ain't gonna work, why would we do that? If they can tell us that that will work, wouldn't that make sense to do it that way?
It's a $10,000 investment for them to give you a plan. I mean, that we may or may not could work through without it, but again,
Well, unless we got a better solution, I mean, we can sit here and throw darts at it for the next 2 months and still be in the same shape. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know necessarily we're throwing darts at this point. We have some options that we hadn't considered that, you know, I think we could find out pretty quick if our pager system will accommodate 3 towers.
Like you said, it's a hourly deal, it's not to exceed. I mean, everything has helped us on some of the early stuff, trying to figure out what it will do. Because if it seemed like if you could do, just add a tower, it seemed like the one I talked about down on top of Randy Travis's hill would be the ideal situation because our coverage issues remain there.
But what they're gonna do is identify the problem. The court's still gonna have to go back and say, hey, Randy, can we use your tower? That kind of stuff's gonna go on, so you're still gonna go through some of that.
I understand, I just, I don't know.
I mean, we know what the problem is. We know we had a system when we had 100-watt repeaters sitting at that elevation in that proximity were pretty solid.
Yeah.
So the tower at Oak Ridge is 898, and we're 90 foot, so we're at 900 total. Excuse me, 1,000 foot. And the state school was at 833, and we were out 400, so we were at 1,233 feet. And we still had a little bit of problem on North Shore with that tower at times. And I know weather and stuff has a tendency to mess with that. Humidity, there's a lot of stuff that can come in play. Yes. So North Shore offered their property, but they're 681 feet. So they're, I mean, that's way lower than where we need to be. And they're on, it's just gonna hit in the backside of the hill. So we really need to be on that, I mean, just trying to evaluate with heights, we need to be up on top somewhere.
And looking at it as objectively as we could, Dexter is 12 miles from Oak Ridge.
Yes.
North Shore is 12 miles from Oak Ridge.
Yes, so if we went out to that
Trying
tower,
to cover Callisburg, Indian Creek, and North Shore, that's what we've got to do, that's that east.
that's on 371.
That tower at Triangle Road sitting at 720 feet. Put 190 on that, so you're somewhere around 1,000 feet.
That's a heck of a lot taller out there than I would have thought. Is,
97.
are other counties
Is that what it is?
with as many volunteer fire departments we have, is everybody still using pagers?
So there's been a tendency to move away from pagers, but that's at a cost, right? If you put a radio in everybody's hand, that's expensive as well. So there has been a move towards digital pagers because of the challenges associated with continuing to maintain an analog infrastructure. So that is, one of the reasons I think that Ray astutely wanted to take a look at what would it mean to move to digital infrastructure. And since you've made that investment in digital in both your VHF band and 700, then there is a lot of merit associated with looking at use that infrastructure that you've invested in and not continue to invest in analog infrastructure in the UHF band. That would be a common trend in the industry, is to start to move away from analog paging. That is indeed correct. It comes at the cost of having to replace your pagers.
And you said in pagers are $700?
That's just looking online, that was the approximate for that song, regular price I saw.
So if we
I'm
need
not
it-
sure if they're available on the state contract, possibly, but don't do that load.
If we needed 300 of them, that'd be 210,000. Plus the equipment to make it run.
Well, to move it to VHF, there would be no cost in the infrastructure. It would only be the cost of the pager.
What about there's not gonna be any kind of repeaters or?
No, because the idea is to utilize the investment you've made already and to use the emergency channel that you currently have available to
That's
you.
already set there.
Right, it's sitting there
All
ready
we
to
have to
go.
do is a little bit of coding.
So it's gonna work the same way our digital radio works.
Yes.
So if we had that emergency management and went out and did testing on our radios, its pagers should work the same way.
And I'm working on that now, and I've talked to the guys in North Shore to see if they take one of their handhelds inside the building and see if it receives or not.
Yeah.
On the fire channel, which will be consistent. And then I'm anticipating needing 2 of those pagers that we are looking into, and taking them out with a current pager in them, and then trying to bounce them at different locations. We're trying to get at least some anecdotal comparisons on top of that.
What's the availability of those pagers, the digital pager?
Communication,
As far as the lead time goes, I couldn't say. As far as the lead time of placing an order,
6 months, a year?
probably 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of been the trend with radios in general, is in that 6-month range.
If you believe that is a solution, that 10,000 goes a long way toward 210.
Yeah, or.
That's just the stuff I'm thinking, we'll think about.
And put no.
I
I
mean,
mean, to me, I was sitting here thinking, instead of sitting here wasting any money towards, the move would be to migrate towards, and in the meantime, if there was a way to put a Band-Aid on that for communications, or, I don't know. Does the IM responding work for North Shore?
My understanding that y'all experience it, I don't use it personally, but they, generally, they do get it.
It's got a
Sometimes, most of the
delay.
time it's pretty quick, sometimes there is a delay, it's not worth betting your life on.
Yeah, I understand. I was just,
To me, that's.
we had both of them Trying
It's
to
a good
dispatch.
backup, and in many cases I hear that they're not getting the page, but they are getting the ambulance body, and that's when they do the help call.
And that's what they're getting off their phones now, volume.
I am responder, active 911.
Right, either of those, that's very much.
And several of the guys are using that now.
But sometimes the problem is, sometimes you'll get it before the page, sometimes you get it 4 or 5 minutes after the page. Well, 4 or 5 minutes is,
A long time.
that's a long time.
But everything's working on the west side.
Yes.
We're just east side.
Yeah.
We got a lot of,
Hidden Valley View is not as reliable as it could be. Hidden North Shore is not very reliable. Indian Creek and Calsburg, at least tell me they're good.
But on the digital side, we haven't heard any problems. If we looked at digital, it should perform the same as the digital radio.
It's going to be a little bit less because of the antenna system on it, but
Right.
it'll be,
Because of the antenna on them.
yes, it'll be similar, but it won't be
On the
identical.
current papers we have, there's the circuit board and the antennas printed on that circuit board.
Right.
On the papers that are we looking into, they have actually.
It's got a little, it's got a small study on it.
But it's not as good as a portable radio antenna, but
So VHF going into buildings, is it, and I've always heard that it ain't as good as UHF. Is that,
Right, the lower the frequency, there's some challenges with penetration of that building.
right?
The VHF band in general goes a further distance, but doesn't penetrate walls quite as good. But if you have the benefit of additional power from the 4 sites, then the hope would be you could overcome that penetration loss with
Okay.
the additional power from the other sites.
That's just more amps out, correct?
Right, and that's, yeah,
Watts
it's more,
out.
it's more watts, yes, sir.
Will our license let us go up on that wattage?
Probably not. Once those are licensed and coordinated, it becomes a bit of a challenge. The coordinators typically give you the maximum that you can have at the time of licensing. So to increase the power on those existing frequencies would not be likely.
But if they knew we had an issue in spots, would they consider it?
They probably would not. You are typically licensed to the maximum footprint that the commission will allow you to have, and so the ability to increase that license. Plus, in the simulcast world, it affects the design, the way those sites have to play with each other. You start to bump up the power, and now you're messing with the
Override.
overlap zones on
Yeah.
those, and you can get into some issues for sure.
And I think our license on digital sites 100 watts.
Yeah.
and the current papers are UHF analog as opposed to VHF digital, which digital does have more carry than analog also, so
Right.
does that offset the whole? But
It does, I guess, to the point. Again, if you reach a point,
my perspective is that there's a lot of questions that I might be interested in.
Oh, I know.
And if we're gonna spend, I don't think anything is gonna be free. I think any solution is gonna be a pretty good expense. And I would prefer to have an educated, at least an educated guess,
I agree with you.
but that's my opinion.
And why I think we ought to do it now and get some numbers here is because we're coming in the budget. I don't think we should wait another year coming in the budget now.
the question is, any of the options are $210,000 or, $154, we're gonna come up with that.
Yeah.
If you come up with the best solution and the cheapest solution, it's $210,000.
Yeah.
So,
Well, my question is too, if we study this another 2 weeks, 4 weeks, is that gonna get us anything? That we're still in budget then?
Well, I would like to have some coverage maps to tell us where we need to be.
Sure.
Or just to say, hey, your existing deal and do this would work.
Sure.
I don't want to just throw darts at the board and say, well, it didn't work.
Well, that's why I say,
I mean, that's my opinion, but
As far as the coverage maps go in the UHF band, I think we could turn that around for you within, 2 to 3 weeks. So we
Okay.
could have you back some answers on that pretty quickly as far as what that coverage would look like.
and those maps will be in existence, right? I mean, because we're gonna provide those.
The UHF, and we're gonna have
Oh, not in UHF. Oh.
VHF.
VHF, yes.
All that plugs that, that provides that update.
so we could look at the UHF compared to the digital VHF and know that the coverage is similar or not similar.
Right, and I think the primary focus in the UHF ban would be to look at your different tower options. I've heard several that you would have available to you. Which of those is best? Is the free site, is it a good site, right?
Right.
If it's free, then you just have to move over the equipment and suddenly you have a free answer for all of it. But if it's a cost with rent, then you have to look at what's the cost of rent over the course of that rental agreement, and does that make sense financially?
And if it's 3 UHF towers, what about the equipment it's going to take to make that work relative to rental of one?
Yeah.
I don't know the answer, but it's.
Well, you got two in place. I mean, well,
East and west.
repeaters. So you need one repeater and we need two antennas to go to 3.
Well, yes, plus the frequencies to put them on.
Yeah.
I'd make the motion, we spend the money with them to get a study done to where we know what we're looking at and can weigh the options. Not to exceed the 9,000 whatever dollars.
I'll second it.
We have a motion from Commissioner Arndt to not to exceed,
Whatever their number was.
what was that number? $9,900 to conduct a study and this study is gonna take about 3 weeks, you say, maybe 2-3 weeks?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it's probably gonna be better, you think, than just rushing into some, yeah.
I think so.
Well, I agree with you.
You may want to incorporate that,
Say again?
Said I see on both sides.
I do too. But
you might want to amend this motion.
accomplishing anything right now.
We've got a second over here.
Yeah, you might want to amend that motion to your budget amendment where you're going to get your money from. I mean, it's your motion. And we could approve it all day long, but then you're going to have to come up with how you're going to pay for it.
They're gonna have to bring the contract back to you to do it.
So that'll be another. Okay, we have a motion on the floor
Here's
that's
a second.
been stated. We have a second from Commissioner Sicking. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We have, motion passes 4-1. And that's item number 20. And that's for a study to, well, the motion speaks for itself.
Thank
you
y'all.
guys, appreciate it. Now, get out there and get some answers,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I gotta bring the contract back, right?
Do what?
Gotta bring the contract back first.
That'll have to come back next week.
Yes, sir, I'll get the
Contracts next
Yeah. All right then, item number 21 is to deliberate and consider possible landfills in Cooke County. No wonder you were in a hurry, Matt, this is yours.
No, I know it. We have no action on it.
No action on item 21, okay? Item number 22 is deliberate and consider possible action regarding the Main Street parking lot. Commissioner Sicking.
Oh, they're putting a stabilization in it. They should be setting up forms by the end of the week. Looking pretty good.
All right.
Did we get
No, but you just tell them about it.
we did a change order on putting some conduits in underneath the concrete where the concrete's gonna be, so if we ever need to put lighting or whatever, we've got it'll be there for future use.
There was a $10,000 contingency, so they'll use that.
So we're still not going to exceed the,
I think it was gonna be like 1,600, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like if we didn't, it'd cost, $5,000 to $7,000 to bore it in the future.
Yeah.
All right, so there's no action required on item number 22.
We'll bring the change order back when we get back to it.
Item number 23 is to deliberate and consider possible action regarding real property on Highway 82. What say you, Commissioner Hollowell?
We're still checking into some legal stuff there, be sure we get it right. So,
Item number 23 is no action. Item number 24, deliberate and consider possible approval of repairing monopole tower lighting issues. Right here.
Yeah, really.
Ray just left.
Say again.
Are you looking for Ray? He just left.
No, I was looking for
Oh.
Ed, actually.
I think
it's
it's part
executive
of the
session.
executive.
Say again.
Executive session. Well, it depends, the repairs is not, the contract executive session.
Right.
Repairs, or did we get a price, did we get a,
I think we were just waiting on the wind was slowing them down. They couldn't get up because it was windy one day. Put the lighting up.
They worked on it again.
Did they?
Like I said, you mean that pole over there by the old jail? There were people there last week.
So they might have it now.
They came back again, but I'm not sure what they got done.
sounds like it's in process.
Yeah.
Nothing we can do today.
No. So item number 24 is no action. Item number 25 is deliberate and consider possible action regarding the press building. And the crest, said in,
No action this time, we're waiting.
well, no action other than what was the contract, we want to talk about that.
I mean, it's under contract, we're waiting.
You know, there's still contingencies, so.
I think we're past the option period's over with, it's full force ahead to close. I think they're supposed to get with you about accelerating the closing date.
Okay, elevator issue.
As long as, and that is the deal, as long as
That's
the
the
elevator
issue.
issue. Where are we at on the elevator with the press?
We're still waiting on them they ordered parts.
Okay. That'll be the only thing, we're tripping it up at this point.
Right. Okay, so item number 25 is no action. Item number 26 is deliberate and consider possible action on the library facilities project. Do you have a report on that? Rick?
Yes, they came last week, put the countertops in, and they had the wrong size sinks. The plumber came to put the sinks in, they had the wrong size sinks, so they had to go back and get the other sinks. The plumber is on tap to come and put those in, but he hadn't got them in yet. We lack putting a door in the meeting room, and then the flooring and that type of thing in the bathrooms. That's probably all gonna happen this week. The carpet is ready, we're just waiting, they're waiting till we get finished painting. We're doing some painting, other things, and we don't want to put the carpet in before we paint, so. It's processing as soon as everybody can get it done. It's looking pretty good.
They putting any vinyl down, Rick?
I'm sorry,
Are they putting any vinyl down yet?
not yet.
Okay, but we hadn't forgotten it's over there for them.
Right, no, we've got it, it's sitting in the old jail, ready to carry over there. And he said they were gonna do that in the next 2-3 days, so when we know they're coming, we're gonna carry it over there.
Just didn't want us to forget it, that should
No,
save some
we're gonna
money.
use our stuff, sure. It's just coming along pretty good. Do you have anything to add?
I think that's it.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right, item number 26 is no action then. Item number 27, deliberate and consider possible action regarding proposed weigh station. No action.
No action.
Item number 28, deliberate and consider possible action regarding various grant funds.
Precinct 4 received $99,316.29 for PW 800 County Road 414. That's all the funds that have been received, and lately. And CTIF grants, we started working on those, and TxDOT told us we had to update county judge's signature on the resolution, which is y'all approved today. So we will continue to work on those and get those submitted. And then it'll have anything.
CTIF, did that give you everything? You have everything you needed? Okay.
We don't need to take any action on receiving that.
No.
Okay. Item number 28 then is no action. And at this time, we will go into executive session in compliance with Texas Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551, Government Code, Vernon's Texas Codes, annotated at 11:05.
We need a 5-minute potty break.
Sure, why not? 30, deliberate and consider possible action regarding authorizing the county judge or other authorized officials to execute settlement participation and release forms regarding settlement offers in the matter of Texas opioid multi-district litigation for the county in the matter of County of Cooke versus Purdue Pharma LP et al. And,
Motion to approve.
motion to approve, Commissioner Snuggs. Second, Commissioner Hollowell, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? There are none. Motion passes 5-0. And should say that it's from executive session. Item number 31, deliberate and consider possible action regarding consultation with the attorney, real property contract being negotiated, or personnel matters.
What's the resolution there to sign? Your signature
Yeah, the resolution just has to be signed.
Is that a separate motion from the contract?
It's all part of this.
Part of your settlement?
We don't have anything on.
Do we sign the resolution? I'm asking for
Do what?
I think it's just the judge.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
this.
Okay, yeah.
So it was Commissioner Precinct 2 made the motion, seconded by Precinct 1.
One, correct.
This is 27.
Most of the reform I can get my message.
Judge, you'll sign that.
Yeah, you might should have read his word.
We trust the judge.
And then have the test.
Okay.
And I'll get the signature.
Okay, good. There's nothing else that we need to sign for you, is there?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. Okay, let's see, deliberate and consider possible, we've done that. Does anybody want to speak to that? Deliberated and considered possible action. We've got, who wants to,
There's nothing on that list.
well, aren't we done on that? huh? Talk-
This is
It's not the-
executive.
Okay.
It just comes in.
Item number 31 is no action, which brings us to item number 32. Anybody
Motion.
interested?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Snuggs thinks we should adjourn, and Commissioner Arndt agrees. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. Item 32 passes 5-0.